What happens when one of nature's most formidable predators comes face to face with a submerged symbol of military might? Today, we dive deep into the extraordinary encounter between a polar bear and a U.S. Navy submarine in the Arctic's frozen expanse. Number 1. The Arctic Giants. Polar bears, the formidable Arctic giants, possess unique adaptations that enable their survival in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Their fur consists of two layers, a dense undercoat and an outer layer of guard hairs that are hollow and transparent, trapping heat and providing buoyancy in water. Remarkably, their large paws, measuring up to 30 centimeters across, act like snowshoes, distributing their weight to prevent them from sinking into soft snow and aiding in swimming. These apex predators have a diet primarily consisting of ringed and bearded seals, which they hunt using a method called still hunting. They wait silently at seal breathing holes and can detect their prey using a sense of smell so acute that they can sniff out seals nearly a kilometer away and under several feet of compacted snow. Polar bears are also known to scavenge carcasses and occasionally hunt beluga whales and narwhals trapped in ice. Their ability to swim long distances, sometimes over 100 kilometers without rest, is crucial for navigating the fragmented sea ice caused by shifting climate patterns. This endurance swimming, however, expends significant energy and can be risky for cubs. As solitary animals, polar bears have a slow reproduction rate, making their populations vulnerable to environmental changes. Their interactions with human objects, such as submarines, highlight their innate curiosity and the overlapping of human activities with their natural habitats. Number 2. Silent sentinels. U.S. Navy submarines in the Arctic. U.S. Navy submarines operating in the Arctic, often referred to as silent sentinels, are equipped with cutting-edge technology to navigate and thrive in one of the planet's most challenging environments. These submarines feature advanced sonar systems that can detect ice movements and underwater obstacles, ensuring safe passage beneath thick ice sheets. Enhanced hull designs allow them to withstand the immense pressure of icy waters, while specialized propulsion systems enable silent and efficient movement, minimizing acoustic signatures to maintain stealth in these remote regions. Strategically, the Arctic is gaining prominence due to its vast, untapped natural resources and emerging maritime routes as ice melts from climate change. The U.S. Navy leverages submarines to monitor these areas, ensuring national security and asserting presence in a geopolitically sensitive zone. These submarines are integrated into broader defense strategies, collaborating with aerial and surface units to provide comprehensive surveillance and rapid response capabilities. Navigational systems on these submarines are adapted for polar conditions, utilizing inertial navigation alongside satellite data to maintain precise positioning even when GPS signals are unreliable under thick ice. Additionally, submarines are equipped with ice-breaking capabilities, allowing them to create temporary channels for other vessels or to reposition as necessary during missions. Environmental considerations are paramount. Submarines operating in the Arctic adhere to strict protocols to minimize ecological impact, avoiding disturbances to fragile ecosystems. The U.S. Navy also invests in research and development to enhance the resilience of submarines against extreme cold, ensuring operational readiness despite the harsh and unpredictable Arctic climate. These silent sentinels play a crucial role in maintaining maritime dominance and safeguarding national interests in the rapidly evolving Arctic frontier. Number 3. The USS Connecticut's unplanned visitor. In April 2003, the USS Connecticut, a Los Angeles-class nuclear-powered submarine, experienced an unexpected encounter during its Arctic operations. While conducting routine maneuvers in the ice-packed waters between the North Pole and Alaska, the submarine had to surface partially to navigate through shifting ice formations. This partial surfacing exposed the vessel's sail and rudder, making it visible above the thick ice barrier. As the submarine maintained its position, an officer monitoring through the periscope noticed unusual movement near the exposed sections. To their astonishment, a solitary polar bear emerged from the surrounding ice, drawn by the unfamiliar structure. Unlike typical interactions, this bear exhibited an unusual level of curiosity and persistence. Instead of the expected cautious distance, the bear approached the rudder with a combination of sniffing, pawing, and tentative biting. This behavior suggested that the polar bear was not merely investigating, but was intrigued by the submarine's unfamiliar materials and noises. Polar bears are known to explore novel objects in their environment, often driven by curiosity or the search for food. However, the interaction with a man-made object like a submarine is rare and highlights the overlapping of human military activities with natural wildlife habitats. The encounter lasted approximately 30 minutes, during which the bear showed no signs of aggression but maintained a keen interest in the submarine's exposed components. This prolonged interaction provided valuable insights into polar bear behavior in response to human presence and technology in their territory. It underscored the need for the U.S. Navy to consider wildlife interactions during Arctic operations, ensuring both the safety of the crew and the preservation of the fragile Arctic ecosystem. Number 4. A curious encounter. During the USS Connecticut's Arctic mission in April 2003, an extraordinary event unfolded that highlighted the intricate interactions between wildlife and military operations in extreme environments. As the submarine maneuvered through the dense ice pack between the North Pole and Alaska, its partial surfacing inadvertently attracted the attention of a lone polar bear. Unlike typical bear behavior, which often involves cautious observation from a distance, this bear exhibited an unusual level of engagement with the submarine's exposed components. The bear approached the rudder and sail with deliberate movements, displaying behaviors that suggested both curiosity and tentative exploration. Utilizing its strong sense of smell, the polar bear was likely intrigued by the unfamiliar scents emanating from the submarine's metal surfaces, possibly mistaking them for potential food sources or novel objects in its habitat. The tactile exploration involved the bear using its powerful paws to swipe and tap the rudder, assessing its texture and solidity, while occasional nibbles indicated an attempt to understand the material composition. This prolonged interaction, lasting approximately 30 minutes, provided valuable observational data on polar bear adaptability and inquisitive nature in response to human-made objects. The bear's behavior demonstrated an ability to navigate and investigate complex structures within its environment, a trait that is essential for survival in the ever-changing Arctic landscape. Additionally, this encounter underscored the importance of incorporating wildlife behavior studies into military training programs to enhance operational safety and minimize disruptions to local ecosystems. The USS Connecticut's experience serves as a case study for future Arctic missions, emphasizing the need for strategies that balance national security objectives with the preservation of wildlife habitats. Understanding such interactions is crucial for developing protocols that ensure both the effectiveness of military operations and the protection of Arctic fauna. Number 5. The challenges of Arctic operations. Operating in the Arctic presents a multitude of formidable challenges that require specialized strategies and technologies. Extreme cold is one of the most significant obstacles, where temperatures can plummet below -50 degrees Celsius, impacting both human performance and equipment functionality. Sub-zero temperatures can cause machinery to freeze, electronics to fail, and materials to become brittle, necessitating the use of specially designed components and rigorous maintenance protocols to ensure reliability. Navigational difficulties are another critical challenge. The Arctic's vast, ice-covered seas and shifting ice formations create unpredictable environments for vessels and submarines. Limited satellite coverage and the magnetic anomalies near the poles complicate navigation, making precise positioning difficult. To mitigate these issues, the U.S. Navy employs advanced sonar systems and inertial navigation technologies that operate effectively under ice-covered waters, enhancing the accuracy of submarine movements. Environmental hazards, such as polar night and continuous daylight, disrupt normal operational cycles and can lead to disorientation and fatigue among crew members. The prolonged periods of darkness during winter months impede visibility and increase the risk of accidents, while the constant daylight in summer can interfere with sleep patterns and alertness. Addressing these human factors involves implementing strict schedules, providing adequate lighting, and ensuring mental health support for personnel. Logistical constraints also play a significant role in Arctic operations. The remote location limits access to supplies, medical facilities, and emergency support, making self-sufficiency crucial. Submarines must carry sufficient provisions and have robust contingency plans to handle prolonged missions without immediate external assistance. Additionally, the harsh weather conditions can delay or disrupt resupply missions, necessitating meticulous planning and resource management. Lastly, the delicate Arctic ecosystem requires careful consideration to minimize environmental impact. Operations must adhere to stringent regulations to protect fragile wildlife and prevent pollution. This involves using eco-friendly technologies, conducting environmental impact assessments, and implementing protocols to avoid disturbing natural habitats. Balancing operational effectiveness with environmental stewardship is essential for sustainable Arctic presence. Number 6. Understanding the bear's behavior. Understanding the polar bear's behavior during encounters with unfamiliar objects, such as the USS Connecticut, requires a closer look at its cognitive and sensory capabilities. Polar bears are highly intelligent and adaptive animals. Their keen sense of smell is perhaps their most critical tool for survival in the Arctic, capable of detecting seals, its primary prey, from nearly a mile away, even through thick layers of snow and ice. This acute sense likely played a role in drawing the bear toward the submarine, which emitted unfamiliar scents and vibrations, piquing the bear's natural curiosity. Bears, particularly polar bears, are known for exploring their environment using both their senses and physical interaction. In this case, the bear likely recognized the submarine as something foreign in its otherwise sparse habitat. Polar bears are opportunistic and have evolved to investigate anything that might provide a source of food or a new experience. The rudder and exposed parts of the submarine likely emitted smells or even minor vibrations that the bear associated with potential prey or a new object worth exploring. The tactile exploration seen in this encounter, pawing, licking, and nibbling, suggests a natural behavior aimed at identifying the object's characteristics. Bears use their paws and mouths not only to hunt, but also to examine unknown items, much like humans use their hands. This behavior is particularly common in younger or more curious bears. In this situation, the bear was not displaying aggressive behavior, but rather a cautious, calculated investigation of its environment. Additionally, polar bears are highly solitary animals and rely on their wits and instincts for survival. This makes them more inclined to approach and explore unfamiliar objects within their territories. As sea ice diminishes, polar bears may increasingly encounter human-made structures, requiring them to adapt even further to changes in their habitat. Their intelligence allows them to assess threats and opportunities, and the bear's decision to eventually leave the submarine alone indicates that it determined the object posed no immediate benefit or danger. Number 7. The intersection of man and nature. The intersection of man and nature in the Arctic is an increasingly complex issue as human activities extend into one of the world's most fragile and remote environments. Historically, the Arctic has been an area relatively untouched by human influence, but the combination of technological advancements and the melting of sea ice has made the region more accessible to industries like shipping, resource extraction, and military operations. This expansion creates a delicate balance between preserving the natural ecosystem and exploiting its resources for human benefit. One of the most striking examples of this intersection is the presence of military operations in the Arctic, especially those involving nuclear submarines. While these operations are essential for national security and asserting territorial claims, they often overlap with the habitats of species like polar bears, seals, and narwhals, leading to potential disturbances. Submarines, for instance, can introduce noise pollution underwater, which disrupts the communication and hunting behaviors of marine animals. The ice-breaking capabilities of submarines can also fragment the sea ice that many species rely on for survival. At the same time, climate change is rapidly transforming the Arctic landscape, making it more accessible for both military and commercial operations. The retreat of sea ice is opening up new shipping routes and potential oil reserves, further encouraging human presence in this fragile ecosystem. However, this also puts immense pressure on the wildlife that has adapted to this environment over millennia. Polar bears, in particular, are highly vulnerable as their hunting grounds shrink, and human infrastructure becomes more prevalent. Managing this intersection requires international cooperation, strict environmental regulations, and continuous scientific research to mitigate the negative impacts of human activity. Conservation efforts must work hand in hand with military and industrial interests to ensure that the Arctic remains a viable habitat for its native species, while also accommodating the strategic and economic demands of modern society.